Hello and welcome to another one of my videos, and in this video I am going to be going over this CX500. Now I'm actually going to be acquiring this, and this is going to be my new project. Now this is actually my fiance's dad's bike, and basically he needs to get rid of it because they're moving out of this place here, or his mother is, and they need to empty the garage, and I've said I'll take the bike off his hands. And what a bike it is. V-twin, Honda 500cc. I seem to be liking my 500cc's, but I will. And it's basically just stood in the garage since September 1984, and basically just been turned over every so often and then just sat. So, going over the bike, I was debating when I came down here, if it was in pristine condition I would have just kept it the way it was and basically done exactly the same as my 100, gone around as just a very honest bike which is all original. However, looking at some things, it's a sturdy bike, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of surface rust. As we can see, the exhausts have got a lot of pitting and rust on them, and it does need a lot of basically work doing to it, cosmetically and maybe mechanically. I'm not worried about the engine. I can't get that started, but I'll get onto that in a second. The carburetors I actually have taken off already, and they're down there, and the reason why I've done that is it's had fuel in the tank. Now, even though the fuel tap was switched off when the bike's been stored, there's still been fuel in the bowls of the carburetors, so basically that's just gummed up and the carburetors are a bit stiff, so I'm going to have to take those back home and strip them, which will be another nice video to do, so watch out for that one. But the idea for this project is going to be a Honda CX calf racer. So basically these bikes, a guy in this country actually does a kit for them where you pay 800 quid, I think it is, and you get all of the parts to basically make a classic looking calf racer out of a Honda CX500. And I am now very tempted to do this because I've always wanted to do a bike which has got my own flair on it, which basically is a calf racer. What a calf racer is, it's what the owner wants the bike to be. And yeah, I've always wanted to do that. My GS and my A100 are in too good of a condition for me to ever actually modify to that extent. But with this one, it's basically a blank canvas. I can do what I want, because I'm going to have to send the frame away for powder coating. And I don't want an original bike, I want a bike that's me. So, as we can see, the frame I'm going to keep black. I've decided that from the start. I'm going to send it away and get a black powder coat finish on it, along with all maybe the triple trees and stuff, all black, and modify the frame as the kit says, but we'll go into that once I've actually bought the kit. The other big thing, which I'm going to start off now because it's going to be a debate through this whole project, is what colour am I going to do the tank and basically all the coloured parts of the bike. I like black, but I don't just want a gloss black, I want something that's a different black. However, I have seen some very nice oranges, like Kawasaki pearlescent orange and stuff like that. I don't know, so if any of you have got any ideas or any pictures of maybe one of these in a colour scheme you like, please just send us them and try and make up my mind. This is going to be a long ongoing project, so I've got plenty of time. Other bad points about the bike is I've got a dead feeling the radiator's bust. There's a lot of dry coolant at the bottom right, and there's a lot of suspicious rust underneath it, so I've got a dead feeling I'm going to have to buy a new radiator. Now, as I said before, we haven't actually turned over this engine. Now, the CX500 engines are bulletproof, so I'm not actually worried about that, and when it was put away, it did actually run. So I am not worried about the engine being seized whatsoever. I've checked the oil, there's no water in it, so I am also pretty sure that the actual cooling system isn't leaking into the actual oil of the bike, so all the seals are great. The other problem is, like I say, I can't start it because I don't have the ignition key. Not so bothered about that because I can get a new ignition barrel, and if worst comes to the worst I can hotwire these bikes pretty easily. The wiring on these are very rudimental. However, the tank uses the same key, so I don't really want to break that, I want to keep the key, so hopefully Trevor will find the key and we'll be able to open this and see what the tank's like, because the tank still has fuel in which I have to drain out. and hopefully it's not too rusty inside. But to be honest, the tank sounds pretty solid, and I know it's not leaking because it does have a little bit of fuel in and it's not leaked out over time, so hopefully that's going to be good. Other point is the front brake master cylinder is kaput. It's not leaking because we've still got fluid in there, but it's just not pumping, there's no pressure in the line, so I'm going to have to get a new one of those or try and dismantle this one and replace the seals, but it might just be cheaper and easier to get a new unit. Whatever we're going, it's done 25,000 miles, but these bikes are renowned for doing high mileages. I've seen them over 100,000 miles and still going. They were basically the delivery boy's bike back in the 80s. They just loved these because they just went forever and never broke down. It's had the cam chain sorted because these did have a problem with the cam chain tensioner, but it did go in under warranty and that's been sorted, so I don't have to worry about that. Back wheel spins, front wheel spins, I've just freed that off, so that's fine. Needs new brakes anyway, but that's just a general service item. But other than that, it's a very solid, honest bike, which will, hopefully in the next year, get turned into a very nice looking calf racer. And it's also my very first V-twin and water-cooled bike, so it's another first for me. So yeah, the only problem I have now is getting it up to mine, because I am now presently in Lincolnshire, near Grantham, and I can't ride it. It's not in a rideable condition, which I was hoping it was going to be in, so I could actually just book it in for an MOT up there and just ride it up when it's getting booked in for the MOT, which you can do. However, because of the condition it's in, I'm going to have to try and get some carrier, a bike carrier, to bring it up, or I might see if there's somebody in my club who can actually, maybe if I give them some money, come down, pick it up and then bring it back up and drop it off at mine. So yeah, other than that, great on a spec. That's the tool kit, it's got the full tool kit as well. However, I know the calf racer kit, where this sits under, we still use the back tail light, but it gets moved forward. But the battery actually gets moved up to behind the actual pod, the back rear pod, so this is going to have to, I'm going to have to try and find somewhere else for the tool kit to live, because I do like having the tool kits on the bike. But yeah, very nice bike. So with that, this is going to be the start, as I said, of my CX500 calf racer project. As always, keep safe, and I shall see you soon, and as like this guy is doing here, ride safely. That was not planned or cued. Anyway, see you later, man.